All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're so glad that you could be here for the presentation. And we are going to be talking today about patient care techs and their importance to the healthcare role. And so just to go ahead and get started, today's agenda, we are going to be talking about labor market information. We have an amazing group of panelists to talk about the career. We do have a few updates as far as K-12 engagements we want to share with you. And I plan to get this all done in 1 hour to get you guys back to your day. So we'll go ahead and jump in. I do want to introduce our panelists today. So we have Nancy Laudenslager, who is the Director of Workforce Development at Austin Community College and is over the CE department and does an amazing job working with us. They actually created an entire apprenticeship program just for patient care techs. So looking forward to hearing more about that. Damaris Roulette, she is our clinical manager at Ascension Seton, and she actually manages all of our patient care techs over through the apprenticeship program and just in general. And then Terrie Hairston is our clinical professional development and transition programs director, which is a mouthful, at Ascension Seton. And Terrie works with me on a variety of different workforce projects, but also overseeing and working with us on the patient care tech program. So happy you guys are all here today. I did want to start off with just some labor market information for everyone in general, but then also specific to healthcare. And so in Austin right now, we are very fortunate that we have a 2.8% unemployment rate in the Austin metro area. Very, very low. We are really happy with it. It does make it difficult to find job seekers because there just aren't that many of them. So mostly right now, if people are looking for a job, there are numerous ones for them to choose from, which is making a competitive job market. And so finding that talent is really difficult right now, which is why K-12 engagement has never been more important. So all of your students, depending on what they want to do after they graduate, have a lot of possibilities right now. Employers are looking to hire them straight out of high school and then work them up, upskill them into higher positions through place. We also have a number of different opportunities for them if they want to go directly into school and finding opportunities there. We are seeing a higher rate of unemployment for our Black and Hispanic populations. And then overall, just for job postings for the month of September, there were over 54,000 job postings here in the Austin region. So as you can tell, with 54,000 openings and a 2.8% unemployment rate, those don't equate. And so we have to find as much talent as we can and really just outreach those areas that we're interested in, specifically healthcare. So jumping into it, so what are the driving forces for the recovery from Austin since COVID? In the last 12 months, hospitality and leisure has been number one, but number two has been education and health service. So we have been able to see an 8.2% increase of job openings in education and healthcare just in the year. And so we are excited to see that and growing up. Not surprising because that is where we have a lot of opportunities. Interesting, just in the past month, the biggest job field that we have had the increase in is government. And so really interesting, and also interesting that none of our big sectors in the past month showed up on the job list. So that was surprising to us because usually we have IT, healthcare, skilled trades and manufacturing are all up there at the top. And in the past month, it was government. So that was a surprise for us when we pulled the labor market data. Where are the jobs year to date? So looking at it, we really have focused on our 4 industry sector partnerships that we have here at Workforce Solutions. Healthcare and IT are kind of always battling it out here in Austin for the number of job openings that they have. 47,000 just for healthcare, 49,000 for our IT sector, trades has 38,000, and then manufacturing is at that 21,000 level. But with the new Tesla plant, with Samsung coming on, with all of the new plants, we do anticipate that that is going to do nothing but increase in the next few months and for the next few years, actually. All right, so career track. So when you're talking to your students about occupations, career trajectory, what are some of the things that you want them to be looking at? So one of the things is growth. So will there be new jobs created in these fields? You know, if you decide to leave and go somewhere else, can you get a job at another employer? Also, is it stable? What is the turnover rate for these type of occupations that they're talking about going into? You know, I always joke that you can go into healthcare and there will always be a job because people are always going to they're always going to have babies. And I have boys. And so boys are always going to do dumb things and end up in like ER. So that is just facts. And so always good job stability when you're going into healthcare. Education and training. So what is the education and training? We realize that all students are different. That's why we have all of these different programs, different education opportunities. And so really finding out where their education and training threshold is. So how much more education do they want to go to? For some, school is not going to be their thing. We recognize that. So there are positions they can go immediately into the workforce, or there are short-term certification programs that they can go into as well. If they really like school and they want to do one of those higher level jobs right out the bat, there are associate level degree, there are bachelor level degree programs. Healthcare, you can go all the way up to that doctoral level with a fellowship, and you can be in school for a very, very long time if that's your thing. So there are opportunities in healthcare throughout that whole spectrum, but really talking to your students about how long they want to be in school.
If you would.
And then what type of training program they want to be into. There are all different types. Do they want to work with people? Do they want to work with blood? Do they want to, you know, be in infection control? These are all conversations to have with them, especially for healthcare, because there is such a wide expanse of it. You know, when we talk about healthcare, the average students know about a handful of different careers that are available to them and don't really understand the whole spectrum of healthcare and all of the different career opportunities they are. So education is important. And then affordability. So affordability on two different spectrums of it. Of one, once they get this job, can they make a living wage doing it? And then two, if you go to school and you are required, you know, can you afford college? And then what does that look like? Is it a certificate program? Is it going to associates? Is it going to a bachelor's? There is that affordability aspect of it as well. We are very fortunate that most of our, you know, healthcare providers that we have here in Austin do have tuition reimbursement. So if they go into a career and decide they want to go back to school, employers do have that availability to help them through that process as well. And then we talk about the gaps. So we do know that we have a number of gaps in the healthcare workforce. Most, you know, topping the charts is nursing. We have been working on the nursing shortage. It is not new. It is not due to COVID. It might be exacerbated due to COVID, but we had a nursing shortage prior to that. And so really, you know, when we talk about it, you know, there are all these opportunities in healthcare. You can start at any path and still. So all of the careers that we're going to be talking about in our info sessions during this year, you know, they can lead to nursing, do lead to nursing. And so at any point you can enter the career path and still get to where you want to go. LVNs are also right up there at the top of the list. And so LVNs are just, you know, kind of one step below the registered nurse on the career trajectory. The hospitals did begin this year hiring LVNs back at the hospital level. And so I think that, you know, occupation gap that we're going to have there, I think is going to increase for LVNs as well. Nurse practitioners, physical therapists, we have a lot of different careers that are available for those higher level, but then some of them that are entry level positions as well. So, you know, personal care techs, as well as nursing assistants, those are all kind of on that list. Patient care tech is going to fall in that nursing assistant level because the labor market, they don't have a specific code just for patient care tech. And so when we see nursing assistant, that usually is grouped in for our certified nurse's aide. Sometimes medical assistant is grouped in there as well as patient care tech. All right. And then our last slide is, what are our employers that are hiring for patient care techs? And so Ascension Seton is topping the list for the number of patient care techs they're hiring, followed by HCA, which is, they own the St. David's facilities here in Austin. And so that's just kind of, as you can see, huge need for it in this area, lots of employers that are hiring for these positions. And then we do have career profiles. We have career profiles for a number of health career jobs that are in the sector that we are trying to promote to students. So feel free to share these with your students, with your HST teachers. They're a great resource to tell a little bit more about the jobs, tell a little bit more about, their work environment, job duties, as well as related jobs with salary ranges. And so if you start out at a nursing assistant, where can you go from there? And so that really will help students kind of guide some of those conversations we were talking about where they could go and how to decide on a career path. All right, so now getting into our panel discussion, we do want to go ahead and jump right in. And so I'm going to start with Terrie. And so Terrie, can you tell us a little bit about what are the main functions of a patient care tech? What are their daily responsibilities? And what are the main differences between patient care tech, certified nurse's aide, and medical assistant?
Sure, Ashley. And what I'll do is I will start with the third part of the question as to what are the main differences between our patient care technicians and our certified nurse assistants or an MA. I think starting there, since patient care technicians, nursing assistants, and CA, certified nursing assistants, those terms are used somewhat interchangeably in that they perform similar jobs depending on the setting. Patient care technicians support and assist nurses. I think that's one of the key pieces, as well as other members of the health team, but they work alongside of our nurses in hospitals, in long-term care facilities, and in other inpatient facilities, while our medical assistants support and oftentimes help fill that void where at our clinics alongside our doctors, in clinics, in medical office practices, as well as in sometimes in health centers. And as we look at what are the main functions, our patient care technicians and nursing assistants assist patients with direct patient care with things such as showering, dressing, and eating, activities of daily living. They also assist in preparing specimens, drawing lab for blood, urine, and other tissue samples. They are oftentimes they work alongside of nurses and in being able to assist our patients to do those activities that they are unable to do. While our medical assistants are often take on medical, they do medical histories, vital signs, and assist in more of our clerical duties and scheduling in the doctor's offices, medical facilities, as well as in clinics. What you will find in all of these is that their duties vary by location, specialty, and by the size of the facility in which they're located.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Terrie.
You're welcome.
All right. All right. Now we're going to jump over to Damaris. Damaris, could you tell us what are the educational requirements and skills needed to be a patient care tech?
So on the standpoint of Ascension, our hiring does not require a certification for PCT or CNA. However, we highly prefer it. So majority, especially in my department, that are coming in having to float to different specialties, we do lean towards wanting that some sort of certification or hospital experience to come on. But otherwise, somebody could come straight from high school without certification, because Ascension has an amazing onboarding process where we have an intense week 1 of training and exposure to the tools, equipment, processes of the organization, to where they can be successful as a PCT when they get on the ground paired with a preceptor. So, so the requirements really is, of course, the willingness to commit to the job, the ability to be able to transport yourself to the area that you're hired into. My department is a float pool, so an associate has to have reliable transportation to hop through the different hospitals within the metro area. On the unit positions, they know they have to be in one hospital at all times, but they always an occasional chance they could be moved to a different hospital. So the requirements for the PCT, once we have trained them, they can have that on their resume. And then we have a certification, a national certification similar to the one that we're taking our apprentices through. Our associates, we now require it as part of the Ascension plan for all our PCTs, whether they had a CNA certification or just hospital experience in the past, or even just with us. They attend some training so that they can have certification as employees of Ascension. But coming on board, they can come green as can be, and we prepare them for the job. But we do prefer the experience, and that's why this program really works amazing, because we get to train our people to be successful for us, and at the same time, they can carry it to wherever they move to, if they relocate or something like that.
And Ashley, can I add to that?
Sure, of course.
In addition, we do require a GED or high school diploma.
Oh, and 18 years of age. We've hired a couple of people whose birthday haven't come up, and we have to wait for them to celebrate it. Yes.
Perfect. And Damaris, what skills are you looking for when you're hiring?
So the skills, same, they do not have to have any experience. Many of them that we have hired, and Terry, you know this, they have never changed an adult diaper in their lives. They have not helped somebody else brush their teeth. They have not been in a hospital setting. So coming on, we do impart those skills on them so that they can take care of our patients and be able to build on that while being exposed to this environment where they can say, I really want to be a nurse, or, oh, I think I want to be a lab tech, just because of the different components of the team members that they work with. Then it becomes like a stepping stone. With the skills they have, they can grow from there. And as Terry said, and as you mentioned earlier, with the tuition reimbursement, it really is amazing, because they're coming in as a PCT. If they want to venture into nursing or whichever healthcare field they want to, they can be functioning as a PCT while taking advantage of our tuition reimbursement to advance in their formal education.
Yes, Stephanie.
Question. So they have to be 18 years of age and older. And I have some amazing students who are seniors in my CNA program here at a high school level, who took our medical assisting course as a junior and passed their national certification for that. And then we'll have their CNA with me. But I have, strangely, I mean, it's great, but I have a few that are 16 years old, like they've skipped a grade. So are there any opportunities for them in anything other than volunteering until they're 18, or is that have to wait for 18?
Unfortunately, Ascension for all positions, Terry, right? They have to be 18.
That is correct at this time. We're working on it though, for the in that we are seeing nationally more students are graduating earlier with younger than 18 years of age. But right now, our criteria is they must be 18.
Even if it's non-clinical positions too?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Stephanie.
if I may, this is Nancy. In regards to the age, many of the nursing facilities will hire individuals at 16 if they are certified. So that is a place for them to get started and work their way up from them.
Like long-term care facilities?
Yes, I was going to say the same thing, Nancy, is yes, long-term care facilities, usually it's 16 or older. But
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I've had several students that get, several students who've been employed by a few of the nursing homes or long-term care facilities that we've gone to. So that's awesome. But of course, they're super interested in the busyness and
hospital.
excitement and buzzing in the hospital. So I'll tell them just to sit tight, get their experience at the long-term care facility. And then when they're 18, they can transfer over. So do you offer summer jobs for students who are 18? So a lot of mine are about to go off to college. And we just finished doing our kind of rotations at Seton where we just observe at Seton Williamson. And a lot of them are interested, but they go off to college in the fall to pursue medical like degrees in some sort of healthcare, whether they want to do undergrad for med school or be nurses or PTs. And some of the long-term care facilities will say, yes, we'll take you, even if it's just for the summer, when you can come back anytime you're in town. How does that work for Seton?
So for Seton, we don't have those temporary positions for PCTs or actually even for RNs. If I speak for my department specifically, even PRN people have to work at least once a week to meet their requirements for PRN. But on the unit on the hospital level, Terry, it's once a pay period, right? Many of them
That is
once a pay
correct.
period. They just have to work a 12-hour shift in order to meet the Ascension criteria to be active as an employee.
There is the opportunity for individuals who are looking at patient safety assistance. Those are individuals oftentimes termed as previous sitter type positions. Those positions are oftentimes open temporarily where they shorter term, and it's a good place for individuals over the summer could possibly be employed.
And those positions are not directly with Ascension, it's contracted. It's a contracted company.
Who do I put them in contact with if I have someone who might be interested?
Touch point.
Touch point. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, ladies. Sorry to take up everyone's time
Oh, no.
with those questions, but I
Good
appreciate
question.
it.
We love those good questions. Good questions.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Damaris. The next on our list. Are y'all? Okay, there we go. So Nancy, you are next. What are the career pathway opportunities for someone starting out as a PCT?
Okay, the first thing we would recommend is that they do pass the National Patient Care Technician exam. That's going to be required. And what those skills that they have will give them the foundation for pursuing medical assisting if they choose, if that's something that they choose to do, or vocational nursing, so the licensed vocational nursing, or sonography. At ACC, they highly recommend that if they have some skills, particularly for the nursing and the sonography, that they have some background. That really helps the students a lot, and it's a lot of the basics that they need. But as I believe it was Damaris that pointed out earlier about other opportunities, once you're a PCT and you're working in a hospital, if you're sharp and you pay attention, okay, and you're doing a great job, you will be exposed to so many different careers, every career at a hospital. You can ask questions, maybe you can get transferred on one of the floors that are specific to what you think you might be interested in. And I believe Ashley brought up earlier that they don't even know, a lot of people don't even know all the careers and what you do. I mean, do you have to stand all day? You know, are you going to be working with a lot of blood, or there's so many things that probably none of us know unless we've actually been in a hospital and work there. So they get exposed to that. And that's a great way for them to really observe and maybe work side by side. And they can make, I think, a more informed choice about what they might want to do for their future in healthcare. And also give them some experience so that they get a good footing, a good confidence level so that they could exceed. So I think PCT in healthcare is probably the best place to start. If somebody's not already targeted to be a doctor or a physical therapist and they don't know, start as a PCT because you get to learn a little bit about everything, and I think you can make a much better informed choice. So that's what I would recommend.
Perfect. Thank you, Nancy. All right, I'm going to open this up to anyone on the panel. So what opportunities are there for high school students to pursue a career as a PCT? Specifically talking apprenticeships, direct hire, or even high school certifications?
Well, and I think Nancy did capture some of this, but there are a lot of opportunities. As Nancy said, it is a place to start for individuals directly out of high school. You can apply for a PCT position, medical assistant position, or any of those when you complete and have your high school diploma. And so it gives you a place. I know I started my nursing career I started as a volunteer, as a candy striper at that time, and then moved into a patient care technician. It helped me to be able to decide that nursing was the path that I wanted to pursue. So I think it is a great opportunity to get your foot in the door in healthcare.
I agree, Terry. Your background is similar to mine. I started off as a home health aide and working as a PCT. That is what really generated that passion in nursing. And I was like, okay, let me start with my LVN, and the tuition reimbursement was able to help me. So I could pay for my RN school while I was working as an LVN, and then my BSN growing that way just because of that exposure. Nancy, you mentioned the different, the unique PCT positions. We have, Ascension has what we call Ascension Connect, and we actually have PCTs working kind of remotely. They're away from the hospital, but they are in a building where they're remotely monitoring patients. So with PCT certification, they are taught how to read the telemetry strips, right? So for somebody that is like, oh my gosh, I love Hertz, I love all this, they can just focus on that, and they can be a central monitor in the central, we call it CMU, central monitoring unit. And that's what these PCTs do. That's all they do. Just monitor the strips of the patients. If there's any abnormality, they contact the nurses. So they're remote, but not from home. They're remote, but from an Ascension facility. And then we have the patient sitters that Terry spoke about. We have the remote option, the virtual patient sitters, where they're actually also at the Ascension Connect. They have all these monitors that can hold about 12 cameras. So they're watching 12 patients remotely. And so their experience as PCTs really helps them be more keenly aware of any safety deviations, and they can identify those, because when the nurse is not in the room, they are the nurses and the doctor's eyes. And then we have the clinic PCTs, and every once in a while, my department gets requests from the clinics that are affiliated with, like the Dale Children's. They have the clinics that are attached to Dale Children's. Every once in a while, they will request a PCT from us. And the few that actually have been sent there, they have taken full-time positions at the clinic. So they're now clinic PCTs. And then also AISD, as you know, Ascension Seton is who provides the nurses and the clinical assistants. And so those are PCTs as well, taking care of the kiddos in the school district. And those ones might be appealing to somebody who has limitations in childcare. Maybe their kiddos are in school. Those hours work great for them because it is 7:40 to 4:30, while the hospital is 12 hours. It might not work for other people. So a lot of opportunities that people may not be aware of that is good to know.
Yeah, I'd just like to mention also that for some of the programs, particularly nursing, it's really difficult, or there's a wait to get into a program. I don't care where you go, because there's only so many students that can be accommodated. And not only it's the classroom, it's the clinicals when they go to the hospitals. So it's limited. So having a healthcare background like a PCT will give you extra points to get into a program. So that could be very helpful down the line, whether it's nursing or some of the other programs where there's a high demand to get into to get the education they need for whatever career they want to pursue, like radiology or respiratory therapy. So having some type of formalized healthcare background will put them higher up on the list to be able to get into a program, because it is very competitive. And also, as we spoke before about younger students like 16, 17, there are opportunities in long-term care facilities, but also home health aid. So if they don't want to be in a facility per se, but are willing to travel, maybe the home health aid would be a way to utilize their skills until they are 18.
And many of those home health aides, they do have like one client that they take care of for years sometimes, where that's just their primary provider. So it makes it easy for somebody that is going to school, having that steady client assignment as well.
Perfect. Thank you all. And Nancy, that is a great segue to our final question, which is, what would you recommend a student do while they are in high school to prepare for a PCT position?
So some of the schools, somebody mentioned you already have an MA and a CNA program, and that's great. Do that. But if the student didn't start that program early enough, let's say they're in their junior year and they couldn't get into the program or they couldn't finish it in time, then any kind of medical terminology, anatomy classes, physiology, biology, some math, any of those classes would definitely help them in a health career. So definitely recommend that they take whatever they can in those like science areas. That would be helpful. And the other thing is communication. Whatever, I know we all talk about the soft skills, but unless you're in a lab where you're kind of like cleaning, let's say sterile processing, where you still have to communicate, but you're really working with equipment, it talks back to you in a different way, right? But if you, the communication, because you're going to be working with patients in a lot of the fields and with your peers, and you need to be able to read, write, and communicate very clearly. That could be essential for a patient, whether if you're documenting information or you're sharing as a PCT to a nurse, and you're not able to, communicate specifically what the issues are, it could be dangerous for a patient. So I would just say any kind of communication skills, I would emphasize those. That would be really important. And when students might think, oh, well, I don't really like that, or I don't want to do public speaking, it doesn't have to be public speaking. But if in the classroom, if you can relate how in healthcare or any field, how communicating will help them in whatever career they choose, but particularly healthcare.
Thanks, Nancy. Damaris or Terry, do you guys have anything that you would like to add for this one?
Oh, Nancy covered quite a bit. I think that all of those are skills and ways that high school students should prepare. But, I also value and think that it's important to talk to individuals in the field. If you have an opportunity to attend health affairs or to be able to go to one of the summer camps or health offerings where other health professionals are there, that you can see them in action and have an opportunity to ask questions, get more information, ask them what was their journey, what path did they take, and then and what recommendations that they have for students starting out. I think that in itself is of value and can help you as you're trying and looking at preparing for the career in healthcare.
Terry, that's excellent. Thank you for bringing that up. And a couple times a year at least at Austin Community College, and there might be some other universities or colleges that also offer career days where individuals from the community can come in and tour the facilities. But besides touring, I can specifically remember someone who got very interested in surgical tech. Once they were on the tour, this was at the ECU campus at Austin Community College, and this was a student in an alternative high school who had originally dropped out of high school and went back. It was from the Texas Can Academy. And I had specifically invited some of the students to come to this career day, and they could actually see what the classrooms are like, what the labs are like, talk to the instructors, ask questions, but there were demonstrations. And so for the surgical tech, there's simulation software, and they actually got to try it. And they were just like amazed by this. And one of them actually decided to pursue a career in surgical tech. So I think whenever there's, as Terrie said, ask about information, talk to people. So when there are career days like that, where they can actually see inside like what a lab looks like and maybe get some hands-on, I would definitely recommend that. It's just an eye-opener, because again, a lot of these students, they don't really understand what a lot of these careers are. They don't know what sonography is. They don't know what a radiologist does, or respiratory therapy. And if they even just that little demonstration, and if they get a chance to do some hands-on, which sometimes they get to do, it's just amazing. It just really gets them excited and encourages them to think, well, maybe that could work. Maybe I would like that. It's just an eye-opener. So I would recommend that.
Thank you, ladies. I'm going to jump in and just put my 2 cents in, because I just can't help myself. But I would also recommend volunteering. Volunteer opportunities are a great way for them to be exposed to a lot of these types of opportunities. And there are volunteer opportunities, and you usually, Stephanie, can get into them before 18. And so I would encourage students while they're in high school. A lot of the high schools require that they do some type of volunteer services anyway. If they can do it in a field they're interested in pursuing, it's going to be even more beneficial to them to utilize that volunteer opportunity to see if it's a career pathway that they're going to be interested in. I'm going to harp on a lot of things that you guys already know about, but encourage your students to go into HOSA, participate in HOSA. You all offer, as high school programs, great opportunities for these students if they take advantage. Encourage them to get their CPR certification, encourage them to get their Stop the Bleed certification, encourage them to do a mental health first aid course. These are all things that they can do while they're in high school that will boost their applications for whatever it is that they want to do while they're in healthcare. So all those applications to go to school, all of those applications for jobs, those little things are things that they can do that helps them stand out from the stack of applications they're going to receive. I would also highly encourage you to tell your students to mark those things down on their resume. Their resumes, their applications, keep a list of what they've done and really highlight that on their applications, on their resume. If you do go to a HOSA event, make sure that you put that down. If you, do volunteer services, a lot of kids, they do volunteer services, but then forget to mention it when it gets to their application and their resumes. Make sure that you put those things on your applications, on your resume, so that you stand out as an applicant, because it is just the fact of it is that healthcare is competitive, especially when you're going into, applying for a nursing spot at one of the colleges. They are competitive. And so every little thing that you can mark down that you have done might be something else that someone didn't do. If the GPAs are very similar and your test scores are very similar, what's the next thing you go to? How well-rounded of a student are you? And so I think anything that you can do like that just helps them stand out from the pack a little bit more. All right. So does anybody have any questions for our panelists? Yeah, go ahead, Stephanie.
might be a silly question, but I don't even know if it's a question, but we offer our students, I guess, their senior year, a 10-hour healthcare OSHA certification training. Is that something, I mean, I know anything you can put on an application stands out, but is that anything that you guys would look at too, to kind of be any of the healthcare facilities that are on right now? Because I always say, hey, you write this down. This is great. You guys have already had a 10-hour OSHA certification course in healthcare settings. And I just didn't know how valuable that is. But I know it's not skill-based, but is that something that you guys look at or that would kind of stand out a little bit to you guys when they're applying for jobs? How much weight does it carry?
I think all of those type items that show their interests and that they have actually pursued to get more information or educate or certify helps, and it's information on an application that can help take them, as Ashley said, to bring their application to the top.
Gotcha. That's kind of what I was figuring. I just wasn't sure if anyone's heard of that before, or because I think it's really cool that they take it. And I try to, it's not the most exciting certification for them, I can tell you. But I always tell them it's another certification. Like, I don't have that. I'm a nurse and I don't have that, and it just got to look good because OSHA protects workers. And so if you go to an employer, you've already had training in that, and that's got, so I was just curious if you guys have heard of that or seen that but yeah, I agree. Like, any little thing they can put on there is definitely a plus.
Yeah, I can see that being very good for, once they come on board, joining like a safety council or something like that, having that certification for OSHA, they have a keener awareness and can contribute to the many councils that we have.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Well, I appreciate our panel being on today and sharing their knowledge and information. These ladies have done a huge amount of work for the PCT role here in Austin, and I appreciate each and every one of them. I do want to finish up with a couple of updates that I have for you all, so especially for the teachers. We do have a November meeting that we're going to be hosting in person. And so our November meeting is going to be held at the Workforce Solutions office in North Austin. It is located right on I-35 and in between Runberg I-35 area. So if you have not already registered for that event, please do so. It is going to be a live event. We are hosting it in conjunction with National Apprenticeship Week. And so we are going to be talking about our medical assistant apprenticeship, which is going to be great information. We are also going to be talking about spring clinical placements and training for that, as far as taking your students to clinicals. So it'll be a great opportunity. So please, if you have not already done so, register for that event. I did want to let you guys know that this is going to date everyone in here and how long you've been involved with this group, but we are bringing back the Nursing Academy. That has not happened since pre-COVID. And so we are excited about that. It's going to be hosted at Concordia University this year, and it's going to be on the first Tuesday in November. So I believe February 7th. I'm sorry. It's going to be on the first Tuesday in February, which I believe is February 7th. So please mark that down. We are in the process of working on our application. It will be an online application process, and I will be sending that out to you all hopefully by next week. The applications will be due sometime in December. We will review them and let students know if they were selected in January. So please mark your calendars for that. It is a very exciting thing for those of you who are on the call who have not participated in a nursing academy in the past. It is a free event for junior and senior level students to apply, and it is application based. And so they do have to write an essay and submit their application in order to be considered. Once we have made the selections for students to participate, on the actual day, we'll tell them about the different careers in nursing. We will talk about the different programs here in Austin. We talk about scholarship opportunities, talk about funding sources, how to apply for college for those first-time students. And then we also, before lunch, have a Q&A session with nursing students from a variety of different programs here in the Austin region. We serve them pizza because healthcare is super healthy. And then in the afternoon, we do a hands-on simulation lab, which is always their favorite activity. So the students will get to participate working with the mannequins on different procedures that they would typically do while in nursing. So very exciting. It's a free event. The students do have to apply, but we are looking forward to that. It was very popular in previous years, but we have not held one since COVID due to restrictions. So we are getting ready to restart that, and we are very excited. And it looks like it is a one-day event, yes. And we usually try and schedule it from about 9 to 2 so that they, if they have to go to school, or, we have had cases where a large group of students from one school did get accepted, and they actually transported them, like they all met at school, they transported them there, they did the event, and then they transported them back to school. So yes, absolutely one-day event, but it is really fun and exciting, especially for students who are interested in a career in nursing, or they want to learn more about it. They're not sure if they want to go into nursing or not. And then any other questions? Okay. Can teachers attend with students? Yes, they can, and usually do. So it's a great opportunity. So we realize that it is limited in the number of people that we can accept for that event. And that acceptance is usually based on the size of the simulation lab at the school that we are hosting it at, is where that restriction comes in. And so depending on how many they can run through a simulation lab in about an hour and a half really dictates the number of students that we're able to accept. And so if a teacher wants to come and experience the event, take down all the information so they can take it back to all of their students, we're happy to have them. It's also a great opportunity for HST teachers to learn about different simulation opportunities that they can take back and do with their students as well. Any other questions about the Nursing Academy? All right, perfect. So the last thing that I have is spring clinical placements. And so I apologize. This was the first year, the first semester back from COVID that we were getting students integrated into clinicals at St. David's. And it was only the second semester for Ascension. So we're still trying to get back in the groove of things. And so we are trying to be a little bit more forefront in that this spring. And so we are currently working on the spring clinical placements based on historicals. We should be sending those out by the end of the week to all schools that participate in spring clinical placements. This will give you guys an opportunity to look at what you have. If you need to make adjustments to times, dates, or locations, please let us know. This is kind of your opportunity to do that before we send them on to the hospitals for approvals. And so we should have those back. We do want to try and finalize everything by the November 15th meeting, which is going to be coming up, which is the in-person meeting. And so we will be sending those out, give you guys a couple of weeks to update them, and then send those back so that we do have a more solidified plan when we go into that November 15th meeting. But if you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to Betty Martin. She is heading up the high school clinical placements for us. All right, any other questions that you guys have? Okay, this is just on the November 15th in-person meeting. If you have not already registered, we will be sending these slides out so that you guys can go ahead and just log on and grab a seat for that. It is going to be about an hour and a half for that meeting. All right, that's all that we have. My contact information and Jessica, who is our K-12 partnership director. And then if you would like to connect with us, please feel free to do so. So we do have a website for all of our career navigators, which is career ladder at workforcesolutionscapitalarea.com. We will be posting this presentation to YouTube as well. We have a whole library of videos that we have on education for career opportunities for high school students through the video section. You can also join us through all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And so if you are interested in learning more about health careers or any careers, because we have a catalog of all careers, but we all know that healthcare is my personal favorite. So that's the one I have to tout the most. Please feel free to log on and participate in any that we have. So if you guys have any questions, please let us know. And we appreciate you guys logging on today.